Hey, how's it going? It's Curtis here with Limitless Digital Media. I'm actually here with Tony Martinez out of the TKO team for PHP Agency. And he has an interesting story as to how he came to PHP. And so stay tuned and check it out. So Tony, I've known you for a little bit, coming up on a year now. Mm-hmm. And you originally were based out of the Fort Myers office.
Yep.
And then now you've moved your headquarters over to the Miami office in Miami now. So, and you have a lot of agents in Florida now. And so tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Sure, of course. So I have a Puerto Rican background. I was raised primarily in Miami. My mother came here as a single parent. I didn't know my biological father. And about a year or so after being here, she meets a man, and a year later she gets married to that man. And that's the guy that now, 29 years later, is the guy that I call Dad. And he was a real hard-working guy, fought really hard, was your average everyday middle American guy trying to support his family, and he managed to save up enough money to move to the Southwest Florida area, the Naples area, and he managed to instill in me the concept of hard work. And when I graduated high school, I went to the University of South Florida in Tampa, and I picked up a job at a restaurant. I started cooking, and I was cooking for about 5.5 years, and in that time period, I remembered very clearly I went from $8 to $12 working for a private owner, and the owner had visions of opening up more restaurants, and every time he opened up a restaurant, what I noticed is he had nicer vacations, he had nicer cars, he had bigger houses, and I'd get this 25 to 50 cent raise every single time, and I always wondered, at that time, what was so different about he and I, and yet we were still working in the same industry. It was kind of crazy to me, but in 2005, my dad was hit by a waste management truck head on. Very, very bad accident. Disabled him for a year and a half. And so I left Tampa, went back down to the Naples area to go help the family out. And what I learned was that, what took my dad so many years to build, he lost like this because he just didn't know the rules of the money game. And when that happened, I was already on my way out of the restaurant industry. I made the decision that what I wanted to do was get into financial services. Originally, I got in just because I wanted to learn about money. I just didn't want to fall victim to those types of situations because middle America talks to two types of people when it comes to money. They talk to their banker, they talk to their HR consultant, which puts them in a position to have a lot of money in savings accounts and a lot more money in 401ks that, don't give them the full gamut of their financial needs. So I got in to learn that, and then I realized there's an opportunity here because this was the best timing to be in financial services. I got into wealth management for a bit there with a private advisory firm. In 2012, I was married, I had kids, and unfortunately, being married 7-8 years took a toll. My career took a toll because I wasn't really running a business at the time, right? At that time, honestly, I was just self-employed. I was running a private advisory firm, but I was working 70, 80 hours a week, and I was trying to maintain the household, and it took a toll, and I ended up getting divorced because of that. And I said to myself, never again. I don't want to ever put myself in a position where my career compromises my time with my family, but I also am a very goal-driven person. I said to myself, I need to make sure that I get a chance to still live a quality of life that my family deserves to have. And I couldn't do it in a world where the income solely derived from me. So I decided at that point in time to open up an agency and build a brokerage. When I first got in, I went in with a company we know as Practice Company. Mainly because the individual that I was originally looking to go after when I was working private advisory was working as an IT sales type position, and I was headhunting him. He was a $250,000 earner. I was hunting him, and when I finally get a chance to meet with the guy, he says to me, "Listen, I'm leaving this industry and I'm coming into yours." I just made that decision. I said, "You know what? This is an opportunity. There's already an established platform here. I'm going to go here." But I did it very spontaneous. I didn't look at my contract. I didn't look at the pros and the cons. I kind of just took his word for what it was. And it took a good year and a half for me to realize that it wasn't exactly what he had mentioned. And that's kind of how PHP found me. And the rest is history after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a pretty incredible story, actually. That's pretty amazing. And I mean, your journey to PHP was, a little bit different to most.
Okay.
And I know the story, but tell us more about how you found PHP and how you got recruited into PHP.
Yeah, that's probably fate of all fates. When PHP found me, I was in a place of pain. I wasn't happy where I was at. I wasn't getting the support, the leverage that I felt I needed in order to really become an agency broker. I couldn't find ways to duplicate myself. So because I wasn't getting what I wanted, I started to kind of self-develop and self-motivate. And what's funny is the individual who brought me on board, where I was at, posted the 90-second video on our internal GroupMe. And I took a liking to it. I saw the video, I was like, wow, I like this guy, Patrick. I'm gonna follow him on Facebook. So I followed him and I would catch his live feeds all the time. And it was kind of funny because what ended up happening, he went on a live feed one day. I remember it very vividly. He got delayed in the airport and he goes on a live feed and he has a conversation about who, he creates those controversial questions about being an entrepreneur. And his topic was, what is better to hire into your field, into your business, a male or a female? So I chime in. And I chime in, this, that, and the other. Here's my points of view, Fort Myers, Florida, Miami, Florida, whatever. And a woman by the name of Maritza Thomas out in California was watching that video at that time. So she sends me a message. And she sends me a private message. And when she sends me the message, it's a very well-known script within the industry. It's, hey, I'm the director of expansion. And I was wondering if you were keeping your options open. You were on my CEO's live feed. See, CEO in the world where I came from is a contract level. It's a title. It's not an actual CEO. It's just someone who's risen to a certain level.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think of it. I just thought here's a practice company agent who's trying to bring me on board and doesn't realize I'm already with the same company.
Yeah.
So I entertained her, just kind of playing around, thinking, maybe, let me see if she's a good prospector. So I sent her a couple messages and then I go off into my meetings. The next day, there was a wholesaler for a company that I sold. And he and I had a really good relationship. And I asked him, I said, man, let me ask you a question, man. I'm not happy where I'm at here, but I love your product lines. Is there another company that, coincidentally has your product lines? And he says to me, you know what? I can't tell you anything. I can't tell you any companies that do, but I would tell you to check out these 3 letters, PHP. I said, okay, no problem. Then, so now I've gotten 2 encounters so far, but I haven't put it together. Then a few days go by and Maritza hits me up again on Facebook, says, hey, are you still there? And I'm like, yeah, I'm still here. Listen, no offense or nothing, but, you did a great job prospecting, but I'm already with Practice Company. And she says to me, I'm not with them. I'm with PHP. And that was the first time that I correlated PHP. I said, let me see what this whole PHP thing is all about. So I go on the web and I browse and I go into their old homepage. When I go into their homepage, like 3 seconds later, the video pops up. And who pops up? It's Patrick by David. And I was like, no way, get the hell out of here. The guy that I've been following, the guy that I've been getting motivation from, the guy that I've been checking out on Value Payment also runs an insurance and investment agency. Yeah. And that night, I was just up for hours, just looking. And then when I found the video, the one that made it for me, it was the Why PHP. When he did that video and he tells his story, how he came from Practice Company, transitioned over, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta talk to this guy. And the next day I reached out to Maritza and she made everything happen. I got a chance to talk to Patrick over a conference call. I got a chance to talk to Jose Gaitan. And then they introduced me to John, sold me the dream, provided everything that I was looking for. They did everything. They did everything the right way. They figured out what I needed and they provided me that. Yeah. The rest is history.
Yeah, definitely your story is very different from anybody else's.
Oh yeah.
It's traditional. Mm-hmm. You get recruited in the company, whatever. But yours is from online, so it was a little bit different situation. And coming from the Practice Company, what were some of the main differences that you noticed? And what made you have the change of heart to go from Practice Company to PHP?
Yeah. So the business mindset, the business person would say to you, higher pay, more companies to represent, gives you more flexibility. Equity, obviously, is a big part that a lot of people talk about. Equity of a company, of a grassroots company that's going to go public. That's obvious, huge. What did it for me, though, wasn't just that. What did it for me was a couple of things. Number one was the people. One thing that I didn't have where I was at is I didn't have support. And I had a lot of people that I just, quite frankly, I didn't have trust. And in any relationship, if there's no trust, there can't be a relationship. There just can't. And there wasn't any trust. And there were things that were happening at Practice Company that I couldn't put my name behind it. But one of the things when I talked to Pat for the first time, I said, Pat, what I need is someone who can show me how to build an agency, because I know how to produce, I know how to make a 6-figure income. However, what I don't know how to do is how to duplicate. And I need people that I can run with, that I can consider my friends, that I can consider my family, that I can trust in, that can provide me the support, the leverage that I need, because I'm not your average advisor. I'm not your average guy that's gonna have an ego. I can come in coachable, I can come in humble, I can be duplicatable, but I just need someone that's willing to invest into me. And I feel like I'm worth it. And he said, you want that? I got it for you. He introduced me to Jose Gaitan, Marlene Gaitan. Probably one of the biggest blessings that I had. All the way from California, flew out here several times. We spoke every other day on the phone, how to make this happen, how to build this. Then obviously John Mason was a big resource for me as well too. I mean, he and I clicked from the very beginning. The fact that he has a dancing background, I dance as well, like it was just perfect. And then Matt Zapala was a big one for me. When those resources came in, I mean, I just took off. And I changed my name from being the producer to now all of a sudden I'm one of the strongest builders in the company, and I'm not even a year in, and a total mind shift change. And there was the people, the resources, and even back office. Amor, amazing. Moral. I mean, these people are really, really hands-on. They're not we're corporate, we make our money, we don't care about the field force. No, they're very much, we care about the field, we care about the field force. We're gonna know who you are, we're gonna know your name, we're gonna recognize your voice so that when you call, we know who we're speaking to. That was just priceless to me, priceless.
Absolutely. And I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, which leads into my next question. You talked about how you were mainly a producer at a practice company, and with PHP, it's more of like a builder's mindset. And like, how has your mindset shifted, from being in that producer mindset going over to the builder's mindset?
You know what it was for me? It was trust. I didn't believe in the model of building initially. To be quite frank, when I was at a practice company, I thought it was a scam. I was like, you're just recruiting your clients because they're not really learning, they're not being trained, they're not getting substance. It just wasn't there, in my opinion. So I didn't believe in that. I wanted to show people how valuable this industry is. I wanted to show people how much of an opportunity there is by giving them what I knew. And because I didn't believe in that model, I didn't do well. Now, what shifted for me was I actually had somebody sit down and say, here's the reason, the rhyme, and the why, and here's how it makes sense. Here's how people win in the money game in the insurance industry. Here's how people win, and here's how you're able to duplicate yourself. Here's how you should, number one, simplify yourself. Don't think that people are able to do college level classes when they're in elementary school, number one. Number two was, bring value to them. Have an emphasis on them getting licensed. Have an emphasis on them learning how to stand on their own 2 feet. Don't just show them the process of the recruiting, also show them the process of helping the families. And that's the part that it didn't click. Once I put that together and I understood that the biggest setback anybody has is their mindset. Once you can get over that mindset hump and instill enough motivation, drive, and then the tools needed for them to stand on their own 2 feet and make an income, once you give them that, once I learned that whole mechanism, the rest was history. I just took off and I renamed myself, you know what I mean? And I had my strongest month ever, the month of January 2017. I mean, it was recruited 54 people in a very small base shop and duplicated several times. And then now, just literally about to cross over the year mark with the company, and I'm proud to say that we've got 3 different territories, all 3 major cities. You got Tampa, you got Fort Myers, we've got now Miami. Miami just turned into our headquarters. I'm there full-time building, and that's something that I never ever thought I could do. And now I see it as just a norm, and we're doing numbers that I've never ever seen anybody in any kind of base shop building game do, and we're doing it as our norm. And it's because of the fundamental values and trainings that people like Patrick, Jose, John, people like Matt Zapala bring to the table, and they give it to us freely. I mean, look where we are today. We're here in one of the largest, mini mansions, so to speak, that we've been able to have. And I was able to call upon Kahindi Thomas, who has nothing to do with my organization. He's just part of the company, but he's not a part of my organization. And he's investing time into my organization because we look at each other as brothers of the business. Yet he makes no financial gains over myself or my agency. But he's here investing. That was never like that before. Mm-hmm. That is where my faith is at. That's why I'm in it the way that I am right now.
That's awesome. And I know, like I said, I've known you for a little bit now. Mm-hmm. And, you pretty much went straight from practice company straight over to PHP, completely 100%. And usually, a lot of times that doesn't happen that way. And,
mm-hmm.
That's why respect you in a lot of ways like that, because not many people can do that.
Yeah.
And just start from pretty much a cold territory and build from nothing. And so it's very admirable for what you've been able to do in the company in such a short period of time. You know? And like he was saying, you know, we're in this little mini mansion right now. That was all the questions I got for today. But
it was a pleasure, man.
Having a little bit of fun here.
Man, I appreciate the invite. Thanks so much, man. I'm humbled by it.
I appreciate you coming out and being able to do an interview with me.
No problem.
But follow this guy on Snapchat, and also follow him on his Facebook page at the Kaizen organization. And also, what is your Snapchat?
My Snapchat is Tony Kaizen Life. And there might be a dot in between the Tony and the Kaizen. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah,
it's Tony Kaizen Life.
I'll post all the links below in the description, and so you can follow him on social media. And also, you know, subscribe to the channel. Follow me as well at Limitless DM, and also
man right here,
and also at Lungtrepreneur. So those are my two things. And like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We had a lot of fun doing it. And until again.
Yeah, man, definitely, bro. Let's take over the world.
Appreciate it. So Tony, I know we've known each other for a little bit. You know, coming up to on a year now, I want to say.
Yep.
And you know, originally you started out in Fort Myers office, and now you're based out of Miami.
That's right.
And now you have a lot of different agents all over the state of Florida. Like, I literally just watched her walk into the door. Like, I literally watched her walk into the door. That's what's so funny.
Dude, on the bloopers, I want that there.
Okay, well, luckily I don't have to do the intro anymore.
Yeah,
so,
I got you.
We already got that all done. Yeah, so